Dr. Saab, you've been on many of our shows earlier, and I remember your points all the way from February, March to now. Dr. Agarwal, please tell me, why is the story of Delhi looking what it's looking? And the more there is a separate set of guidelines which has been issued by the Delhi Chief Minister. But I look at the kind of provisions which are being spoken about today by the central government. I look at what is being done by the Delhi government. Where has Delhi gone wrong according to Dr. Agarwal?
So let me come back to a couple of things, starting from central government to Delhi government. Central government has done a major blunder of not declaring a pandemic as a national health emergency. He is doing the same mistake as US is doing. Let the states decide. That's the way pandemics are never managed. Pandemics are always managed by centralized policy. Whatever policy is there, it has to be a national policy. You cannot have different policies running in different states. Somewhere you allow doctors to diagnose. Diagnosis is different. Mortality is different. Your way of diagnosing death is different. That's not done. That's a major mistake. Second mistake which the government of India did was ignoring the first case which came in Kerala on 31st of January and thinking that it may be a local problem, Kerala will be able to manage it, and not doing effectively the whole month of February. We can't blame them because it's a learning curve. Retrospectively, people may say that situation would have been different. But I think we should have done international closure, not a national closure on 31st of January. Things would have been different. Now, as far as Delhi is concerned, we know Delhi and Bombay are epicenter. When we know Delhi and Bombay are epicenter, we should be realistic. Realistic is, let's see the Wuhan study in China. In Wuhan, there were 6 cases 2 weeks back, and they tested 65 lakh people in 2 weeks, and they detected 200 asymptomatic cases. Now we know for every symptomatic cases, there are 33 asymptomatic cases. Their density, our density is same. They are in Asia, we are in Asia. They have a mortality rate of 3%, we have a mortality rate of 3%. So we are matching in our figures. So this figure also has to be matched. That means if I have 1,000 cases in Delhi yesterday, I'm missing 33,000 cases who developed COVID yesterday. I am getting calls from all over. In every family, there is a sick patient. Whether they have a COVID or not, tested positive. Or whether they go for a testing or not. Every house, every 100 people you call, 10 of them will be having cough and cold. So COVID is there. So what? If COVID is there, so what? If you tell the truth, the number of cases in Delhi is not 1,000 but 33,000 because you are not doing the testing. Our mortality is less than 0.5%.
Dr. Agarwal, are you saying
yes.
Dr. Agarwal, are you saying that in Delhi, the number of cases could be far, far higher? I mean, we appear to be testing more. The Delhi Chief Minister is saying...
It should not be less than 30,000 yesterday.
Not less than 30,000.
अगर आज सबका टेस्ट करोगे, at least 30,000 patients आएंगे, and that's a good news. That's not bad news. That's a good news because your mortality becomes 0.3. Your mortality becomes 0.3, and that's a realistic figure. When it came to New York, when 20% of the people got infected, the curve started settling down. And in Delhi and Bombay, which are the epicenters, till 20% of the people are going to get infected, we are not going to see the curve coming down. We are at this moment, you cannot trace people. You can only trace symptomatic cases. You cannot test asymptomatic cases. Trace symptomatic cases, manage them, and let asymptomatic infections go on. And ultimately, you will have a curve which is settling down. That's my opinion. I am pretty sure that with the statistics of China, that for every 1 person, there are 30 asymptomatic cases. Even if I take it the New York study, for every 1 symptomatic cases, there are 10 asymptomatic cases. But in New York, people maintain social distancing much more than in Delhi. So I am pretty sure that our mortality is low. We should be very strict in symptomatic cases and asymptomatic. And another thing I want to add, because everybody is talking about that, if you go out, wear mask. No. No. Once lockdown is out, you are going out, making public, you are going to come back with asymptomatic infection. Wear mask at home also. Maintain a social distance at home also.
That's a
if
very
you
important
are
point.
having a public
That's a very important point, Dr.
Yes,
Agarwal. That's
if
a
you
very,
are having
you're
a
saying that we
public
should
meeting,
wear a mask at home also, not just if you're going outside.
if you are coming home after a public meeting, that means you are a shopkeeper. Come home, take a bath, take your clothes out, let it be washed, meet your family with a mask because you have been exposed to public. Anybody who has been exposed to public has to wear mask inside the house. Other members may not because they have not
Correct.
been infected.
Just let